Hey, what's up everybody? I'm Waller's Wallet. When it comes to credit card trifectas, we're always looking for the best trifecta. So in this video, we're going to take a look at a few different trifectas to see which one offers you the most value. Now, if you're someone who likes credit card rewards and learning how to travel for less, consider subscribing to the channel and turning the bell notification on as well. And if you want a simple way to help out the channel, give this video a thumbs up. It really does help the channel out. Now, when it comes to trifectas, it seems most people fall into either Chase or American Express trifecta ecosystems, but what if the value was better with a different trifecta? And the trifectas we're going to be using for this comparison are the Chase Trifecta, American Express Trifecta, Citi Trifecta, Wells Fargo, and even a Cash Back Trifecta. And to estimate the rewards earned from each trifecta, we are going to be using the Bureau of Labor and Statistics for annual spending, but we're going to modify it just a bit. We're going to be using $4,500 a year in annual spend for grocery spending, $3,500 a year for dining out, $2,100 for gas, $10,000 for non-bonus spend, and $5,000 for travel. Now this does merge quite a bit of the categories, but it does make it more simple for calculations. But be sure to use the numbers that work best for you. I mean, personally for me, the yearly dining amount for most people is too high for me, but we're using numbers based on the average person. Now, while this is based on yearly spend, I will be breaking numbers down into monthly spend as well, and I won't be doing any sort of crazy shifting of spending to take advantage of one card over another. I'll be using the best card given for the category at that time. Now, when I run the numbers, I am looking at long-term value, and I'm not including the year one bonuses because those bonuses are just a short-term injection of points, and while they're great for 1 year, we are really looking at long-term value here. And the numbers I use for certain credits might differ from your value, and that's perfectly fine. Use your numbers when calculating these things. Now for the trifecta breakdowns, for the Chase Trifecta, we're going to be using the Chase Sapphire Reserve, Freedom Unlimited, and the Chase Freedom credit card. This is going to earn triple points on travel and dining, 5x on rotating categories, and then 1.5 points per dollar everywhere else. For the American Express Trifecta, we'll be using the Platinum card, Gold card, and Blue Business Plus. This is going to earn 5x on airfare, 4x on dining and groceries, and then 2x everywhere else. For the Citi Trifecta, we're going to be using the Citi Double Cash, the Reward Plus, and then I was really stuck between the Citi Premier or the Citi Prestige. But based on the history of questions I've asked you in the community tab or even my Facebook group, I think the Premier could benefit more of you instead of the Prestige card. But you could easily put the Prestige in this trifecta if you think it's going to benefit you more. And this is going to earn triple points on travel and gas, double points on non-bonus spend, then you'll also earn 2x on gas and groceries and have those points rounded up to the nearest 10 points. And for the Wells Fargo Trifecta, we'll be using the Propel card, the Cashwise card, and the Visa Signature card. And with this trifecta, you're going to earn triple points on gas, ride shares, transit, flights, hotels, homestays, car rentals, and streaming services, and then 1.5x on non-bonus spend. Then for the Cash Back Trifecta, the great thing about this one is that you can really pick from so many options. This was pretty challenging for me to decide since there were a lot of great options out on the market. But since we can only pick 3 cards, the trifecta is going to consist of the Citi Double Cash, the Wells Fargo Propel card, and the American Express Blue Cash Preferred. And this is going to earn 6% back on groceries, 3% back on gas, dining, and travel, and then 2% cash back everywhere else. And I didn't want to use a cashback setup where it required someone to have $100,000 or more in an account or have a ton of annual fees, since based on the spending we're using, the average person really doesn't spend enough to justify those cards. Now taking a look at the Chase Trifecta. Now when it comes to the Chase Trifecta, I used the Chase Freedom at its 5x categories, and I took the monthly spend and multiplied it by 3, and it gave me the reward for those quarters. And I used historical information here since we don't know all the 2020 categories as of yet. And the Chase Freedom Unlimited was used when the Chase Freedom or Chase Sapphire Reserve didn't have a bonus multiplier, and the Chase Sapphire Reserve was used for all travel and dining when the Freedom wasn't 5x in those categories. And when you look at the average person spending, they would earn just over 57,000 Ultimate Reward points per year, valued at about $855 if you valued Ultimate Reward points at 1.5 cents per point, or about $1,140 if you're someone who values Ultimate Reward points at 2 cents per point. Now, the Chase Sapphire Reserve has some benefits like a travel credit, which I will value at 100% of the value, since if you're someone who's traveling anyways, you'd be spending money on travel, so you're just shifting this back and forth between Chase and yourself. The DoorDash credits though, I'll value at about 80% of the value, since it is more limited in use and these food delivery services can charge more money as well. And also, I accounted for the $300 travel credit that you don't earn points for as well, which I value at $9. So that means this trifecta has an effective annual fee burden of $163, and this reduces the reward value to $693 at 1.5 cents per point and $978 if you value ultimate reward points at 2 cents per point. Now, I realize there are other benefits on the Chase Sapphire Reserve, so put your dollar values there and account for that. Now, taking a look at the American Express Trifecta. With the American Express Trifecta, I put all grocery and dining spent on the gold card. When it came to travel, I said about 1/3 of the spend went to airfare and the rest went to other expenses, which I put on the Blue Business Plus, and then the Blue Business Plus had all the non-bonus spend. In the American Express Trifecta would earn 71,150 membership reward points, which is about 14,000 more points than you get from the Chase Trifecta. And if you're someone who valued membership reward points at 1.5 cents per point, you would be receiving just about $1,070 in value, and at 2 cents per point, those points would be worth about $1,420. And this trifecta has an annual fee burden of $800. Now, I did count the Uber credit at 80% of its value, since you can buy discounted gift cards, and Uber is not accessible for everyone. The airline credits, I do value about 50% of the value because it's just getting harder and more restrictive to use them. The Saks Fifth Ave credit, I valued at about 70% of its value since I find it to be a filler benefit. And then the dining credit, I valued about 80% of its value since you need to pick up to reduce fees, which takes more work. It's also in a more limited restaurant network. Now, I realize there are plenty of other benefits that the Platinum card offers. So if you put value on those benefits, be sure to account for it. But be sure to give value to benefits that you actually use. Adding a value to Hilton Gold means nothing if you don't stay at a Hilton property. So with that in mind, this brings the effective annual fee down to $324. And after accounting for that effective annual fee, that means the reward value would be $743 if you valued points at 1.5 cents per point, and about $1,100 if you valued membership reward points at 2 cents per point. Then taking a look at the Citi Trifecta. Now, I use the Citi Premier for all gas and travel expenses, and then I use a double cash for dining and non-bonus spend. But what makes this trifecta just a little bit more difficult is the Reward Plus, because if it's rounding up to the nearest 10 points, because that can really increase the number of points someone's going to earn. But what I did here for this trifecta is I actually broke the spending out into a weekly spend and accounted for someone grocery shopping once a week. Now, if you were to break those transactions up or maybe shop more than once a week, this will definitely change, but it's definitely harder to account for in these examples. And with the Citi Trifecta, you would earn 57,660 points. And if you valued thank you points at 1.5 cents per point, you'd earn about $865. And at a 2 cent per point value, you'd earn about $1,150. And since the Citi Premier has an annual fee of $95, this is pretty easy to calculate since the Citi Premier has no extra benefits. So after you account for that annual fee, it brings the value of your rewards down to about $770 if you value thank you points at 1.5 cents per point. And if you value them at 2 cents per point, it would lower the value to about $1,060. Now, the return you'd get would be different if you use the Prestige over the Premier, so be sure to account for that since the Prestige has more benefits, it earns a little differently as well, and also has a higher annual fee. Now, taking a look at the Wells Fargo Trifecta, this is the bank people love to hate, right? But when it comes to Wells Fargo Trifecta, the Propel card is the main driver, and the Cashwise card is just going to be there for non-bonus spend and for grocery purchases. And the Visa Signature card is really only there to boost your redemptions. But with the Wells Fargo Trifecta, you would earn 53,500 points per year based on the average person spending. And a big glaring miss for Wells Fargo is grocery spending. If they were to add a grocery multiplier, this could make this trifecta even better. Now, what makes Wells Fargo different than Citi, American Express, or even Chase is the fact they don't have transfer partners. So on the low end, your points would be worth $535.50. But this is where the Visa Signature card really comes in handy because it gives your Wells Fargo points a boost to be valued a little over $800 when you redeem your Wells Fargo points for airfare through the Wells Fargo travel portal. And best of all, this trifecta has no annual fee. And lastly, we're going to take a look at the Cashback Trifecta. And I get it, not everyone is a Cashback fan. But if you're looking to run a 3-card cashback setup, I think that's what your rewards would look like. You're going to use your Blue Cash Preferred only for grocery spending since it earns 6% cash back there. The Propel card is going to be used for dining, gas, and travel, and then your Citi Double Cash is going to be used everywhere else. And this trifecta would yield you $788 in cashback rewards with just these 3 cards. But after you account for that $95 annual fee on the Blue Cash Preferred, it drops the rewards down to $693. Now, while we're only talking trifectas in this video, you could easily increase the amount of cashback you can earn by adding other 5% cards to the mix or even other cashback cards to really boost that number. Now, I actually find this pretty interesting because when you look at someone who wants to redeem for premium cabins or value their points at 2 cents per point, American Express is the winner here, even if you account for the effective annual fee, which is going to vary from person to person. And even at 2 cents per point, Chase is behind both Citi and American Express. And as far as cashback is concerned, it should be no surprise that a cashback trifecta is going to be the best option here. But the most intriguing column to me is the 1.5 cent per point column. Now, this column is basically using travel portals or even transfer partners for economy flights, which many of you travel economy based on the questions I've asked in the past. And when it comes to travel portals, we've seen prices be inflated, which reduces your actual value. So while these are the values you're going to receive, the actual value could be lower since it's going to depend on the prices are inflated and how much they're inflated by. And the Wells Fargo Trifecta offers more value here over the others. Both American Express and Chase have better benefits, but in terms of earning rewards, Wells Fargo earns about $100 more than Chase and $60 more than American Express and only about $30 more than Citi. But some of you out there might be willing to take $60 less from American Express for that added flexibility to be able to transfer to one of their partners. Both American Express and Citi come out ahead of Chase, but in order to get that 1.5 cent per point value, you would need to use their transfer partners, and that takes more work for people than just using the Chase points through their travel portal, because you can't use American Express or Citi points through their travel portal at 1.5 cents per point. And for some of you out there, you may not want to do that because it is more work. And while people like to talk about the Chase Trifecta, it's in last place here in this column. But do you also notice it earns the same rewards as a Cashback Trifecta? And it could actually be less depending on if there's inflation through the Chase travel portal if you are using the travel portal. But the big drawback for the Wells Fargo Trifecta and Cashback Trifecta is their lack of transfer partners. Although if you wanted to, you can buy points with those currencies during sales if the numbers were to work out for you. Now, I realize every person will spend differently and even value their points differently. But I use the average spend from the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, which gives an idea of the average person spending, so you can have an idea of the points that you could earn each year with these trifectas. But what I think this shows is that you really need to evaluate your rotations and the cards you're using for your spending with other options out on the market. Because while Chase gets a lot of attention, it seems it might not earn as well as compared to other options out there. So tell me, will this make you reevaluate your credit card rotations? Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in this video. If you want to help support the channel, a simple way would be links on the website or in the description below. And if you know somebody who could benefit from this video, feel free to share it with them. And until next time, safe travel and take care.